Cashflow Diary Podcast, episode 46.
Congratulations, you showed up. Give yourself a high five in celebration of your success. Welcome to the Cashflow Diary, where new and experienced investors come to take confident action towards their goals. Your host is a family man, a real estate entrepreneur, investor, coach, and instructor. As a master facilitator of Robert Kiyosaki's Cashflow 101 game, he's inspired many to begin their journey into creating cash flow for themselves and their family. And now, here he is to offer you the tools required to earn the income desired. Your cash flow coach, Jay Massey.
All right, and welcome to another episode of the Cashflow Diary Podcast. I am here and excited for you. Hopefully you've been enjoying entrepreneur after entrepreneur after entrepreneur coming on and just sharing with you how they create cash flow. And that's the one thing that I love just about being an entrepreneur, is that you can come up with nearly any idea and figure out a way to make it work for cash flow. And we're going to continue that theme. If you're wondering though, what cash flow is, or how you might be able to create some yourself, or what you need to do in order to get some, we have a complimentary, that's also known as free, free course for you. Go over to learninvestingnow.com, learninvestingnow.com. Most of you already know, but if you don't, I specialize in doing everything using none of my own money or credit. That's how I got started, and I want to show other people how to do the same thing because it's lots of fun. Various techniques, various strategies that are over there, but go over there and find out. And you're gonna get 3, 4, 5 hours of video completely free. Learninvestingnow.com is a great place to start. With that being said, I am definitely glad that entrepreneurs are just people. At the end of the day. Sometimes we can think that, I could never be an entrepreneur. I could never do that. But yet all of us have a story. All of us have a beginning, and very few of us were born with all the skills and resources that we need to get started. So continuing in that theme, continuing in that tradition, we're doing the guest today is all the way from Germany. And I'm excited because entrepreneurs are everywhere. Entrepreneurs are worldwide. They're not limited to any one particular geography, so to speak. But here's the important thing to understand. The reason I'm really, really excited in this particular case is that this entrepreneur happens to have been a listener for the podcast long before I even knew we had listeners in Germany. So it's very, very exciting for me to welcome Mr. Eric Promm. Eric, are you there?
Hi, Jay. Yes, I'm there. Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much. Hope you're okay too.
So far, so good. I am excited. I mean, I love the fact that technology, which by the way was built by entrepreneurs, technology has the ability to bridge gaps in worlds and make things like speaking with individuals in foreign countries very, very possible. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yep, no problem. So I'm sure everyone's wondering, what type of business do you do? What is it that makes you an entrepreneur? How do you produce cash flow? So why don't you tell them a little bit about how you got started and what your business is?
Okay, I'm an international financial advisor in Germany. Formerly I've been working in a bank clerk for about 12 years. And after that, I founded a business. What is the word in English? It's insurance brokers.
Yes.
I met Robert Kiyosaki in a seminar in Nuremberg a few years ago. And that started my business, in my business career in real estate. I bought myself some real estate, made good business, rented it out, and got some cash flow. I sold some, and after that, I was interested in getting some real estate, not in Germany, but in the UK and in the US, and that started that started the cash flow way.
That's very, very good. That your story is very similar. I mean, all of us start somewhere. Very few of us, like I said, are just born, boom, here's a business. And, it usually starts with a change agent. We'll call it a catalyst. And it sounds like the catalyst for you was new thinking that you were introduced to by, Robert Kiyosaki, which most of us here know and understand. But tell us a little bit about, some of the things that you've learned by coming to understand, cash flow and anything that the Rich Dad organization has been able to share with you. How did that help you in any way?
That helped change my thinking in a way. I do not have to buy real estate to invest my own money. I can take banks' money or other people's money to invest and create cash flow from the real estate. The cash flow just has to be higher than the interest, and the interest I have to pay the bank or the investor. And that's the fun part. That's where the fun comes in.
Indeed. I agree with you 100%. Now, if I understand correctly, you work with investors in Germany and the UK, and I find that interesting because I know, being obviously very U.S. centric, when we say international, we mean going to where you are. But when you say international, you kind of mean coming here. So describe, if you will, how did you make that leap from working in your own backyard to crossing over a very large ocean to wanting to do things either in the UK or the US?
Sure. I had to learn some new things, some new skills for sure, because in Germany real estate is very high priced at the moment. I think we're going into a bubble, so I had to look otherwise where the prices are okay. And you can rent and have some not really guarantee, but have good possibilities as a renter, as an owner. And that's the UK and the US because of the language. I can speak English, not perfectly sure, but understand me. I hope so, at least.
So far, so good.
Great, thanks. So I had to learn some new things. Had to get to know some new people like you. And that started my journey outside Germany.
And the thing to pick up from that is the language that everybody speaks is cash flow. I mean, whether you're working in euro or whether you're working in US dollars,
sure.
you still speak cash flow. And, we can get interpreters if we really, really have to be able to, cross that border. But, what's really fun is that real estate is everywhere. There's no place where someone doesn't need a piece of real estate to live, work, play, or lay. And people understand this concept all across, the world, which is how you and I met. You were listening to the show, and you were one of the first people from overseas to actually contact us. And I was like, wow, would have never been able to meet you any other way, but we speak the same language. We speak cash flow. And that's been the foundation for what has begun to be a very good business relationship, which is exciting, that we have the ability to do those types of things. Now, in general, I know over here, our investors are, very, they vary in types and kinds and whatnot. But I'm just curious if your investors or people who invest in real estate in your world, since that's who you work with, those are your customers, what type of individuals do you work with in general? What do they typically do? What are their typical problems? What are the problems in Germany that you're solving that investors come to you for?
Yeah, you're so right, Jay. We all speak cash flow. And everybody needs a place to live. We all have to live somewhere. The people I work with mostly are people who, for once, do not trust their banks. They do not trust the euro to be stable for the next years. And they do not get good interest or interest at all in their bank account. So we give them the opportunity to invest with us. We pay them a fixed percentage. We pay them 5% That's way better than in the bank. And they are sure that they get their money back because the banks just promise them. If they can't keep their promise, we had that in the last years. Banks can't keep their promise to pay back. We didn't have that in the last 10 or 15 years. But if you look a little bit further, banks are not that safe as they tell you, and real estate is safe. After all, if I would be gone, the real estate would still be there. Investors would have something to fall back on.
Right. So so are you saying that this is news to me? So you're saying that in Germany, there's some banks that have either closed or not kept their promise? I don't understand. What do you mean? What happened?
That is, let's say, about 30 or 40 years ago. It's not in our generation, but the generation before. If you go back 100 years in Germany, we had three big crashes. A change of the money from the D-Mark and the Reichsmark, and every change cost the investor lots of money. Every time they change the currency, the name, you lose money. Then we had a few years ago, that's about, I'm not sure, about 3 years ago, we had Bank in Germany. They promised to pay good interest, but after a few months, people would not get their money back. So you can see long queues before the banks with concerned people if they would get their money back. And so, people don't trust the banks anymore that much as they did a few years ago.
Wow. Okay. That's news. I mean, we haven't had many banks do that over here, but that's interesting because what motivates a person to do something is a solution to a problem. It sounds like, if you're looking for a safe, secure return, and obviously, we agree that, real estate is one place to do that, but many people do use, lending or banking institutions to hold their cash. Right? And I find that interesting. So through that process, you get introduced to Robert Kiyosaki, to Rich Dad. You end up seeing that, the banking industry is having trouble. Is that what began to be the idea for how you could put the two together to solve the issue?
Yeah, right. Next problem is banks pay percentage, let's say, under 1% if you get interest at all. The inflation is much higher, so people lose value. So Rich Dad Company said, why don't you create a solution, give them good interest, give them safe possibility to invest, and create cash flow. And that's what we brought together, a safe possibility to invest for people, to invest their money, and to get their money back safely.
Interesting. So, clearly the perception is that it's safer than a bank, and that's amazing. I mean, but it still takes work. How do you've got, I don't know, millions of things going on, millions of dollars, millions of clients, and hundreds of things to do. How do you manage all of those deals and all of those transactions in all of those countries?
Okay. Yeah, we try to keep it as simple as possible for our clients. They hand the money to us. We give them a certificate, and they kind of own a piece of our business. And we invest money with people like you, Jay.
Yes, I have found this out personally, and that's good. It's just amazing to me that, I know that when I started doing real estate, one of the things I hadn't considered was how to help people around the world. I mean, yes, in theory, that everyone knows, all of us know that people out there in the world need real estate, but it's interesting to hear, at least it's interesting for me to hear, what's going on over there that creates the need for real estate, or need for alternative investments, we'll say. And it's not too dissimilar, but it is different, than what's over here. So this is very, very interesting to me.
Yeah, sure.
Now, when it comes to, so tell me about the very first deal, because we all have those first ones. I mean, you're a banker at one time, and then all of a sudden you have to say, okay, I'm going to make my first transaction. How did that happen?
Okay, first transaction. Yeah, sure. A lot of my money was involved
Of course.
because I wanted to get yeah, kind of yeah, I don't know the word for that. I wanted to be sure that the investors would get their money back,
Right.
and if we would lose any money on the transaction, it would be my money, not the investors' money at first.
Mm-hmm.
So we bought four houses in the UK. We worked them up. They were in really bad shape, and after that we rented them out. We took the half of my money. It was about 100,000 euros of my money, and the same from investors. So to get sure, if I would just get say 2.5% cash flow, it would be a really, really low number. I would still be able to pay my investors 5% because my money is involved too. After 1.5 years, we were able to refinance, and we paid our investors 5% plus 1% on top as a small gift. And we gave them the opportunity is a different word for me, a difficult word for me,
You got
to get the money back immediately or invest it again with us.
Awesome. And so now is that first transaction, at the end of that first transaction, what are you feeling? What are you thinking?
That was fantastic. I was thinking, okay, first I thought it would work. Now I know. I know that it worked. That was fantastic.
Exactly. Now, and how long ago was that? That first transaction?
That was say about 3 years ago.
Got it. And so 3 years hence now, you've built I assume a decent track record, and you've got how many clients have you been able to serve now in the 3 years?
Just with a 5% for the real estate.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be about 120 clients.
Nice, and that's amazing, because you just start and that's the thing I hope everyone is hearing is start. It doesn't matter where you start. What matters is that you start. And once you start, stay started, because at the end of the day, what it comes down to is that we have the ability with our mind to create a solution. And that's exactly what you're hearing that Eric has been able to do. He's been able to create a solution so that people have the ability to get started and to understand. Now, I'm curious, when you're over there coming up through, the primary school, secondary schools, what is there a lot of financial education given in the schools in any way, shape, or form?
No, not at all. You learn thousands of things you never need again. Just like Robert Kiyosaki said, I learned calculus, I never need it again. But I never learned how or what to do with my money. And that's exactly the thing in our schools.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I find it it's amazing to me how similar the challenges are, even though we speak obviously a different primary language, but we all speak cash flow. And that's one of the most important things to understand, is that cash flow transcends borders, transcends languages, etc. So how did you make the leap in your mind? I mean, I'm sure today, you've got, like you said, hundreds of clients. You're serving people in the UK and Germany. How did you finally go, you know what? I can do this full time, my business, myself. How did that happen?
It was, I think it was in the seminar. At some time in the seminar, I thought, man, that could be a possibility to help my own clients from the insurance business to get their money invested and get safe and good return. That was the start.
Yeah. And so how did you go? I mean, many times we're in an environment, we're in a seminar and we go, man, I should do that. But where did you find the actual courage to go and do it?
Yeah, yeah, that was not that easy. I had to find people to help me because it's difficult in Germany to get a return like that, a return over 5%, and that's what we sure need. Yeah, I contacted lots of people. I flew to the UK, I flew to the US, I listened to podcasts, and got going, step after step. Like you say, make one step and then you see further.
That is true. Go as far as you can see, and when you get there, you will see further. You don't need to
Yeah,
see
that's right.
the entire staircase. Just take the first step. That's all that's really, really important, and that's what I find it. That's why you're intriguing to me. That's why entrepreneurs in general are intriguing, and that's why I hope you're listening and understanding. You don't have to have it all figured out, because he can do it from Germany and cross countries. So that's amazing to me. I mean, I'm just now beginning to do international investing over in Central America, and it's fun. And, I like that. We're beginning that process. And if you want more information on that, feel free to go to investinginbelize.com. But what's important is taking the step you can take in order to find out how, you don't need to know everything. And most times, many people stop. So I'm kind of curious now, and I'm assuming you run into other people who say that they want to do what you're doing, but they what stops people, do you think? What do you think stops people from actually taking on the challenge? Because we've all had that thought, one day I should do this. But what do you think stops people from actually taking that leap, that jump, and actually getting it done?
I think I heard you say in some podcast you want to drive to the grocery store, but you first wait till all the red lights are green, and you can't wait for that. I think that is the problem for most people. They want to know everything at the first beginning, at the start. They want to know everything, and that is not possible. You have to go as far as you can see, and then you see further. That's so much truth, man. That's it.
Got it. Yeah, no, I love the fact that part of the what I hope everyone is getting is that we're all the same. And even though we may live in a different country, I'm sure I'm just kind of curious, how warm is it right there today?
We have a really mild winter at the moment. We don't have snow yet, but it's about I don't know
the Celsius is fine.
Celsius is fine. It's okay. It's about 5 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
Getting lower because we're in the evening. It's getting under zero. Sure.
Oh my goodness. 5 degrees. Okay, for those of you who are wondering, is 5 degrees Celsius is the same as I'm typing it in real fast. 5 degrees Celsius will give you the same thing as 41 degrees. And just so you know, he called that mild. I find that interesting. Just so that today we are expected to have 29 degrees Celsius, or 84 degrees is our weather today. And this is
I don't even have that in my living room.
This is our winter, by the way, so you got to just love it. But my point is even though we live in different places, even though we're brought up differently, we grow up differently, all these things, there are so many things that we do have in common. And at the end of the day, wouldn't you say that you feel more free today than you probably did working at the bank?
Yeah, for sure, Jay. I would never want to go back again. The bank is, if I go out my door and cross the street, I'm right in the bank I worked. I would never would want to go there and work there. I just like to go there and see my bank account and smile.
I hear you there. I hear you there. There was one time I did that. I actually went to the bank. I went to like 4 different branches of the same bank just to check my balance because it was exciting. I kid you not.
Fun.
I did that. But anyway, these are fun things. Okay, now before you laugh at me, just ask yourself: would you have done the same thing? You probably would have went to 4 or 5 banks too. Anyway, let's take a quick moment to cover our cash flow question. Last time we did the question, I believe we were at what is the formula to calculate loan to value? What is the formula to calculate loan to value? Well, it's relatively academic and arithmetic. So it's just simply take the principal balance of the loan divided by the asset value of the loan. So if you have a loan balance of, say, $80,000 on a asset that has a value of $100,000, it's 80,000 divided by the 100,000, which then gives you an 80% loan to value. Very, very simple, but very, very important. One of the basic metrics that you will begin to understand as you continue your journey in becoming a bigger, better real estate investor. Now, if you're wondering what is this question about, it's simply this: I do my best to continually ask questions that will increase your financial intelligence, help you become smarter about numbers and investing in various different ways. And for those of you who are brave enough to answer, which has been a lot of you lately, and you're getting them right, so this is good. That means either you're looking them up or you know it. Either way, I'm satisfied. So, for those of you that send in the correct answer, you're getting a copy of my upcoming book, which will literally teach you about what is a cash flow diary. Many people ask, how on earth do you build a business, and especially starting the way that you guys started? If you don't understand what I mean when I say the way you guys started, go back and listen to episode 1. That'll give you some background, some history, some information. But more importantly than all of how we started and what we did, the question becomes, well, how can I do it too? How can I go out there and take something I'm passionate about, get some specialized knowledge, and make a difference as well as make a dollar? And that's exactly what the Cash Flow Diary book is about. So I'm looking forward to introducing to you soon the release date, et cetera, but it's coming soon. So make sure that you send in your answers to this week's question. Your answer is going to go into 800-689-1764, 800-689-1764, or you're going to send in that answer to cashflowquestion@cashflowdiary.com. The question for this week is, as a property owner, keywords there, as a property owner, why is maintaining a high debt service coverage ratio important? I'll repeat that. As a property owner, why is maintaining a high debt service coverage ratio important? Give it your best guess. Try to understand it. Look it up. Understand it. Send in your answer. Again, the cashflowquestion@cashflowdiary.com or 800-689-1764. All right, let's get back to the interview and go all the way back over to Germany. When you're working with investors, what are some of the common questions or common things that they're always wondering in terms of, how to, because you said it yourself, 5% is hard to get. I'm sure one of the questions they're asking is, well, how can you get 5%? What is it that you do that's different?
That is one of the two questions. The first is, how can you pay me 5%? And the other one is, will I get my money back? Sure,
Two good questions.
The biggest concern. I tell them the truth. That we invest in real estate, and if I would run away, they still would have the real estate.
Right.
They do not have to do anything with the real estate. They just, I invest their money, and they get safe 5%. I tell them, we try to get higher returns than 5%, so I am fine and they are fine. Everybody is a winner.
There it is. I like that. And by the way, when you said you paid the other guys back a 1% bonus, I like that idea. I'll take a bonus any day you want to send it, by the way, so you don't have to,
Oh,
just in case you're wondering.
My clients like the bonus too.
Yeah, well, no doubt. I totally like that. And it's amazing. You can use what you know. So I assume you spend a lot of time on airplanes. Is that accurate?
I did spend a lot of time. Now it's not that necessary anymore. I have a team set up in the UK, and I have you in the US.
Yes,
So
we're
I
easy
don't
to get a hold of.
fly everywhere.
Right. And but that's the thing that I want people to hear is that you can build a team and because oftentimes we think we have to do all the work. Now you may start off, it sounded like you started off doing all the work, but as you experienced success, as you grew personally, as the business grew, it sounds like you also then expanded your capabilities as well. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, that's right. That's 100% right.
So what do you think? Here's a different question. Then what do you think prevents people from growing? I mean, you started out as one person, but now you're more than one. What do you think prevents people from growing?
That's a good question. I think, after all, it's really fear. It's fear of falling back, of not getting it done, not knowing who can do that, who can help me, and that's again the same thing. You gotta go one step after the other.
You got that right. So tell now, if your career has been anything like mine, you've had one or two mistakes, one or two things that didn't go well. I'm kind of curious, what were some of those major lessons or things that happened for you on your way? Because every time I, plan out in my head that, hey, everything's going to go perfect. Success is a straight line. That's not always true. So I'm kind of curious to know what you've experienced on your way to getting to the position that you're in today.
Sure. Yeah, I had a good setback, a great setback. I bought a small flat in Germany, in Munich, and you gotta know it's really expensive in Munich. I took investors' money. There was about 70,000 euros, and rented it out. And the guy who rented it did not pay any rent for, I'm not sure, 9 or 10 months. That almost killed me because
Wow.
I had investor, and I did pay my investor. That was no question. I did pay my investor. And in Germany, it's not that easy to get someone out who does not pay. You have something called, I'm not sure, 30 or 60-day notice.
Yes.
We don't have that.
I see.
We don't have. You have to go to court, and that can take years.
Wow. Didn't know
I
that.
lost a lot of money.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That's why I like investing in the U.S. You get people who don't pay. You can get them out. We don't have that possibility in Germany. Not that easy.
Wow. Didn't even okay, see, and that's funny. We always think the grass is greener on the other side. And then you learn that you don't have an eviction process. There's no way to get them out. You just have to go to court, and it takes wow. So how did you get them out? I'm curious. What did you do? How did you solve that problem?
Yeah. I talked to him. I talked to my lawyer. I did everything. I even talked to the police, but they would not do anything. Last chance was I told him, okay, we gotta do something. You gotta get out. He said, I will not pay you. I will go out, but I will not pay you for the last 9 months. Yeah, and that's in Germany we said that's the frog I had to eat. I would not get rent for the last 9 months.
Wow.
But he was out after the 9th month.
Wow. Okay. Now here comes the next question. Everyone's afraid of exactly that. They're afraid of something happening when you're trying to build your cash flow. You're trying to go through this, and then you get a frog that you got to eat. Oh, how did you recover from that? What did you do? What did you do to make up for that loss? What did you do? How did you what did you do? Because that's I think there's going to be something good in there.
Yeah, sure. As everything, you can say I lost money, or that was school for me, and I had to pay the school. I had to pay my my new knowledge.
Right.
yeah, the new renters I put in, and now every tenant I put in, I check them. We have something called credit reform. That's a kind of background check, and I run that on every tenant now to to prevent me from such tenants.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the important thing to hear is that, one, even though he experienced the challenge, he still kept his promise to the investors, and then he figured out what he needed to do. And that's not always fun. I can remember the times I've had to do that very same thing because it's challenging occasionally when you run into things you didn't expect. I'm assuming you didn't expect that when the tenant moved in, you thought it was going to go well, right?
Yeah, sure I did. Otherwise, I would never let him in.
Exactly. We all think it's going to go well, but then it doesn't. But what I think is impressive is that you didn't quit. You kept going. I think a lot of people quit when that happens, and that's unfortunate. But at the same time, that's what creates a business opportunity for you and myself. Is the fact that we're going to go figure it out. We deal with all the dirty stuff so that you don't have to, and whatever that means. And in your case, in this case, it was figuring out how to get control back over your property. So good job. I like that. Now,
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah, someone sometimes told me you can cry or you can learn. I decided to learn.
you can cry. Yes, this is true. I've never heard that one. That's cool. I like it. But I've done both, by the way. I've been crying while learning. So
Me too. Crying while learning. Yeah, sure.
yeah, got to do both of them occasionally, but that's okay. This is good. Now, for those that are listening, and I know that speak German, or maybe you're in the UK, I know you've developed a video series that kind of takes them through the process and helps them understand everything from taxes, inflation, and real estate, etc. How would they? I know that how would they access that? How would they find it?
Yeah, sure, we have that. Until now, we just have that in Germany, but it will soon come up in English.
Oh, okay.
The German-speaking customers can go to www.promm.de. That's promm.de/9tips. The 9 as the number 9 as a digit, and then tips. It's one word, 9 tips. You give me your name and your email. That's all, and you get a 9-part free video series. You learn everything that's important. And if we have listeners from the UK or not German speaking, you can email me at email. That's one word, email. No, email.
Yes.
At .de. That's Promm. It's promm.de.
Excellent. This is good. It's fun to always, it's fun to talk to listeners. I like people that listen. Thank you for listening. And it's fun to interact with other entrepreneurs and just give people a different viewpoint from even in this case across the country, or across the world, not the country, where it's 41 degrees and very, very, I would call that cold, by the way, just so you know. But if you're happy with it being mild, I would call that cold. But it's good to see how many things our businesses can do. I mean, we can see a problem, we can identify that problem, we can create the solution, and after creating the solution, then we find a way to turn that into a service or a product that creates cash flow for ourselves and our family. And so I'm just kind of curious, since creating all of these things and doing this, how has your family responded to Dad doing these new ventures?
They love it. They love it. We learn to get to know new people, just like you, and we travel, and it's mind expanding. You learn new things. You have to learn new things, and they really love it.
Excellent. I know it's been I would say literally life-changing experience for myself and my wife. And it's just fun to be able to provide clean, safe, affordable housing, do the things that we do, meet interesting people from all across the world. And I hope that, this quick look into, this investor profile, if you will, having an understanding of how, you go from, in this case, banker to creating some cash flow for yourself. It's very possible. It's possible everywhere. And it's not limited to just the United States. So with that being said, Eric, is there any one last thing that you'd like to share with anyone that's listening, anyone that's thinking, man, should I or shouldn't I? How can I get started? What I need to do? Is any last thing any last piece of advice you want to give them?
Yeah, sure. If you really want to do it, just do it. Like I started listening to some podcasts. I heard your voice. I got to know you, your ethics, your values, and I thought, hey, I want to make business with them. And now we're doing that. You just go one step after the other.
Indeed. One step at a time gets you there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's been yet another episode of the Cashflow Diary podcast. Thank you again for your attention. But more importantly, I'm looking for your massive, immediate, and focused action. Go out there and do something and go get some cash flow. And I will catch up with you soon. Until next time.
Thank you for investing your time with Jay Massey and the Cashflow Diary. When you have a moment, please visit iTunes and leave a positive comment about the show. And go now to our website, CashFlowDiary.com, to take advantage of our free business building course, Cashflow Foundation. Gain the knowledge, understanding, and skill that will teach you how to never need a job again. Until next time.